Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SoulLift, where music and talk lifts the soul. Before I get started, I want to invite you to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with your friends, and if you feel so inclined, I'd love for you to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will definitely respond to it as soon as possible. So, what are we talking about today? Title of this video is Adapt or Get Left Behind. And so let's go down memory lane a little bit. So when I was a teenager, we had these things called home phones. All right, so I'm in my early to mid 40s. I'm 44. Let's just go ahead and throw it out there. No need to disguise it. We had home phones, and if you're older than that, you certainly remember home phones. And back in the day, you know, I would get home from school, and obviously I had siblings. I'm a middle child. And so my older sister and brother, they had first dibs on the phone, right? My younger two brothers, they were kind of a little too young at that age, and they weren't really using it. But, we would take turns using the home phone, right? Someone had to call the home phone. It would ring loud. Everyone could hear it in the house. And, your mom would pick up, your dad would pick up, someone would pick up, and they would say, hey, can I speak to Antoine? Or, hey, can I speak to so-and-so? And then we'd have to go get that person, and say, hey, so-and-so is calling you, right? And this now, when it first started out, we didn't even have caller IDs. So we had no idea who was calling us. You would tell your friends earlier in the day, hey, call me, around 5:30 or call me at 7, and you'd be sitting by the phone waiting for that call, right? And the expectation was that you were going to get that call, right? But you were competing with everybody else in the house who may have already, who may have also rather gave that expectation of someone to call them at that time. And so, there would be times where your parents would say, hey, someone's going to call me. I'm going to get a call at 7 o'clock. No one can use the phone at this time. And so that was kind of the norm back in the day. And we had pay phones. I could go on and on about how this operated 20 years ago. We had the corded phones that were plugged into the wall, and then cordless phones came along, and you could take them all over the house, so on and so forth. But when I graduated high school, I started working for Radio Shack. And I remember 1999, 2000, 2001. I graduated in 1999, but I worked for Radio Shack off and on over those few years. We started selling cell phones. I remember the first little Nokias, right? I remember the Motorola Razors that everyone was crazy about. Prior to that, I remember the two-way pagers, the three-way pagers. I remember when track phones came out, so on and so forth. And so if you are still today in 2025, I don't even think it's possible, but if you are still using the methods of 1999 and prior to, which is the corded phones, the home phones, that type of thing, to where your communication is tied up in that old process, you've been left behind. Because no one, when I say no one, I don't mean absolutely no one, but let's say no one is less than 2-3% of the total population of everyone that you talk to, everyone that you see, everyone you'd be expected to talk to for business or your social life. No one essentially is doing that anymore. Everyone has adapted to cell phones. And at this point, not even the old Blackberries, the old Palm Pilots, the old flip phones, everyone is adopted to smartphones. And they are being upgraded and updated every year, and new ones come out all the time. So that's what's happening right now within the workforce, right? And we must adapt or we will be left behind. Earlier this year, there was just a lot of layoffs, right? It started with the federal government, it started with DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. And the current administration, their vision is to shrink the overall federal government as far as its employees. Now, I'm not here to debate whether or not that's the right path. That's not really why I'm making the video. But what I will say is, I believe, I have no research to prove this, it's just my own intuition, is that that was the catalyst for what we've seen throughout the years with companies all over the country laying off tens and hundreds of thousands of employees. This year has been an unprecedented year for company layoffs. Again, all starting with the federal government. And so my heart goes out to anyone and everyone who's been laid off, who's lost their job, currently those who are being furloughed by the federal government. And hopefully it reopens very soon. If recent news is to be believed, it seems like it has a very good chance of opening here over the next few days or so. So my heart goes out to you. I've experienced this myself back in 2024, 2014. I was a part of the reduction of forces in the United States military. I was in the Army, captain in the Army at that time. And yeah, we had a drawdown of forces. We were leaving Iraq, and we had too many soldiers, too many airmen, too many sailors, too many Marines. And, you know, the Department of Defense made massive cuts. Tens of thousands of soldiers, of service members, were laid off, essentially. Um, Now, before I get into the spiritual application of this, because that's really kind of the foundation of why I want to get into this, I will say huge shout out to the companies who are giving severance packages. So when I got laid off in 2014, the Army gave, the Department of Defense, the Army gave a very good severance package for me and my family. We were able to keep our health care for about a year, I believe. We basically got 1 year of pay, if not fully 1 year, very close to it. We got a lot of other benefits as well. And then we also learned that this was going to happen well before it happened. And so we got pretty good advance, and thank God we were able to land on our feet very well. And so huge shout out to the companies who are giving their employees severance packages, because it really lightens the blow. It's no consolation overall in the sense that the person still doesn't have their job, but it gives them an opportunity to transition. So again, my heart goes out to anyone who's experienced this recently. You're in my thoughts and prayers for sure. And I just want to encourage you that the best is yet to come in your life, and just take this opportunity to pivot into something bigger and better for you and your family. It's certainly not the end. It's just the beginning of a new chapter for you. And so adapt or get left behind. What's driving some of these changes? Okay. Well, really, in the corporate and private space, AI, artificial intelligence, automation, and robotics are really driving this. Okay. And companies are looking into the future, and they're saying, based on the research that we've conducted, that we have access to, that what's in the public space, we believe that AI is going to dramatically alter what we do as humans within the workforce. And so basically, anything that can be automated, anything that can be AI'd, if you will be AI'd, right? Anything that's redundant, anything that has multiple layers, anything that depends solely on your ability to use your muscle to push, pull, or lift over time, that's just going to be AI'd, it's going to be roboticized. I'm making up words here. It's going to be automated, right? Because the technology is available and companies want to use it. They know it's going to drive profit. And so it doesn't mean, like in the first example, that phones are going to go away. We still have phones, right? I'm recording on one right now, but I'm certainly not using a home phone, corded or wireless, right? I'm using a cell phone. So the jobs of the future are going to be completely different. And you have to adapt to that. I have to adapt to that. We have to start learning as much as we can about artificial intelligence. 100%. The days of taking your job for granted, in that I can just come to work and I can just put it on autopilot and I can just, do what I've been doing for years and keep my head down, do a good job, and no one will, just kind of, what do we used to say back in the day? I can't remember the phrase, but basically going unnoticed, if you will. Fly under the radar is what I'm thinking. The days of just flying under the radar, coming to work, doing your job the same way as you've done it those days are over, man. Forget about it. AI is going to impact that. Robotics is going to impact that in especially the administrative fields, right? And so maybe we'll do another video at a later date that kind of talks about the different positions. And there's a lot of research out there now on this, but the ones that are going to be most impacted potentially by this. And so, without any further ado, I want to encourage you with the Word of God on how I believe we should be approaching these changes. Okay, and so starting off, I'll go to James 1, verse 5, where the scripture says, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. And so many of us don't understand this. I will tell you, I don't fully understand. I don't even know if I halfway understand what's happening and what the future will be. I certainly don't know the future. But guess what? I can go to God and I can admit, He already knows anyway. You know what, God? I have no idea what's happening. I see these layoffs happening. I'm hearing that, AI and all these different things are going to have an impact. I need my job to take care of myself and my family, right? Please give me insight, give me wisdom, give me understanding of what's happening right now, and help me prepare for the future. He said that He'd do that. And so I have comfort in knowing that I can go to Him and ask for wisdom. Remember, Solomon, when he was given the option to ask for anything he wanted, right? He could have asked for riches and fame and power and this, that, and the other. He asked for wisdom. And because he asked for wisdom, when he could have asked for all those other things, God blessed him not only with the wisdom, but with everything else, right? So imagine if we go to God, to the throne of God, having the ability to ask for everything, but we ask for wisdom, right? Especially in these times with this topic, I just truly believe that God is going to do the same thing for us. All right, so what's the next one? Isaiah 43:19. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. And doesn't the current workforce kind of feel like that for some? Feels like the wilderness and a wasteland, right? Um, and let me just say, I am so thankful to have a job, right? I am so thankful to work for an amazing company. I don't take it for granted at all. I go to work every day just feeling super blessed and grateful. And again, I've been laid off. I've been fired. I've been I've had to quit jobs because they just were not the right fit for a variety of different reasons. Again, we cannot take any of these blessings for granted, and having a job is a blessing, okay? 100%. And so God said, I'm doing new things, right? I, I am making a way in the wilderness. He will do that for you in these times. So let's just seek Him out. Let's see, I got a couple more. Proverbs 16:3, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans, right? So we really don't have to worry about this. Again, I know it's scary, but commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Let's just stay committed to God. Let's go to Him. Let's ask for wisdom. Let's recognize that as new things are happening in our environment, He's doing new things as well. He's making a way in the wilderness for you, right? And let's stay committed to Him. And then the last one is Joshua 1:9. It says, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Now, if we can't find comfort in that, I just don't know, because there is so much out here going on right now, not just in the workforce, but it's just so much going on within our country, within our world, our families, our individual households, and it can be a little scary from time to time. But again, he reminds us, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Now, just imagine, and if you know what was going on at the time in the book of Joshua, they had a lot to be nervous about. They had a lot to be um, discouraged. They had a lot to be afraid about, right? And I don't necessarily want to compare what we're going through, but I don't even know if it's a comparison, right? Um, because it's all, suffering and pain and all of that, it's all relative. But I will just say that the children of Israel were going through exceedingly tough and difficult times, right? When these words were uttered. But he said, but still be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, right? And so, with God's grace, with God's wisdom, with God's direction, you will lead the change. You will lead the charge in your life, in your industry, your career field, because again, you're going to seek him out. You're going to ask for wisdom. You're not going to be worried. You're not going to be afraid. You're going to commit to the Lord, and you know he's going to establish your path. And then again, you're going to understand and know that God is continuing to do new things, right? But understand, like I said at the very beginning, you must adapt, right? You cannot, faith without works is dead. You can't say, I'm going to hold on to this home phone. I'm going to hold on to this phone that's plugged into the wall, and then expect to have the same ability to communicate with the world when everyone else is using cell phones, smartphones. It doesn't work like that. You must adapt. You can adapt, right? And so if you know someone who's been impacted, pray for them, support them in any way you can. Share this message with them, and let's move together in faith and purpose and power, knowing that all things are possible through the God that we serve, who strengthens us, through Christ who strengthens us. I want everyone to have an amazing day. Again, I invite you again to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends and family. I look forward to the next one. Look forward to reading your comments. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.